Welcome, our online community. Thank you so much for joining us. And those that are joining us on Spirit TV, thank you so much for joining us. The questions that we've been answering, the getting unstuck and getting out of our plateaus and just starting and reorganizing our lives and running the race has been immense and has been very, very helpful to so many of us. So if you still have those questions, please forward them. We're going to make sure that we really respond to them. And every Friday, you should never forget to plug into this community. It's a very beautiful community of beautiful ladies, both married and the singles in capital letters. We have them here in house, both guys and the ladies. So make sure that you come right here into Thobani Studios, okay, so that we can work together with you. But again, wherever you're joining us from, thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, let's go straight to getting unstuck, okay? So many of us have so many plans about businesses, do you know the wheel of life? But we all know that we are in different spheres of life. And be it a spiritual journey, a personal growth journey, a career growth journey, a business growth journey, a parenting journey like we have seen. We have so many categories of life, being healthy emotionally and physically. There are so many journeys that we are on. And then sometimes it can be one person that is on 8 different journeys. But again, sometimes in our growth journey, we tend to plateau or we tend to get stuck. But do you know, and as I was thinking about it when I was coming here, I was thinking about the segment of where are you stuck? And I got this epiphany that we don't have a manual for getting unstuck because most times we never expect to get stuck. We always think that growth is going to be automatic and we're going to go from one level to another, from one glory to another, and life is just going to keep going. So we keep going with the flow. But sometimes the flow is not enough to push us. So we get stagnated, we get stuck, and then we get, to be in one place for the longest time. Remember I said, if you're not growing in increments and multiplication and addition, you're actually dying in this age and era. If your finances are not growing, they are dying. There is no middle ground. That, I've been at the same place for the longest time. I have not moving. No, you are dying because the world is moving at a very terrific speed. I'm not saying we chase the world, but again, we must take our growth into our own hands. And that is why we must have ways to get unstuck in our journey. Even when we don't have a natural manual to get unstuck, but I put down only 3 things that I want us to share before we even get into your moment of getting unstuck and the questions that we're going to answer. I just put down 3 things that are very, very crucial that I know I have applied in my own life. Because how I do this is I go back into my own life at a moment where I was stuck, at the moment where I needed an extra push, at a moment where I knew I needed to take a forward movement, but I was paralyzed and I was in one place. I was gripped with fear. I was gripped with exhaustion, with exertion. I was gripped with depression. Do you know that you can fear yourself into depression? And these days, the fear that is onto us, it's like the spotlight is onto us because of social media. So you're thinking the whole world is seeing me while I'm getting paralyzed, while I'm getting depressed, while I'm losing concentration, while I'm losing focus. I don't tend to be a person of my word. I make promises and I break them. I want to grow, but I never seem to do the things that grow me. I tend to procrastinate on my own financial goals. I tend to procrastinate on my own relationship goals and marriage goals. Like, I am literally pressing pause buttons on myself. Or I am literally getting self-destruction buttons on myself. If God had created us with self-destruction buttons, let me tell you, some of us will be pressing them. Instead of pressing growth, we will be destroying ourselves instead. Because it's easy to destroy yourself. You don't have to think. You just have to live, eat, and sleep. And your life will be ruined. But if you're going to grow, you can't, sometimes food is not going to be enough. Let me tell you, up to now, food is not enough. Recently, I was talking to Tim. For those that don't know Tim, Tim is my husband. I was talking to Tim, and I was telling him that, you know what, I just feel the hunger and the thirst to go before God and seek his face for the people that I meet in the world, that even when I don't say a word and someone just looks at me, let there be a turning point in their lives. Because we have spoken words, but empty words do not work. Your words must have the energy. Your words must have the power, must possess the extraordinary to push one person into a different dimension for that to be transformative. Otherwise, if your words do not contribute to transformation, then we are speaking empty words. And I don't want to speak empty words. I want to meet you 2 years from now, 5 years from now. You are a totally different person. You are in a place where you did not even expect to be. But you kept pushing yourself one level after another level. You took deliberate movements. Even when you didn't have it all figured out, you kept putting one step in front of the other or one foot in front of the other. So let's talk about number one, character traits. When I talk about character traits, I'm not talking about the ethics of good conduct and bad conduct. No, I am not talking about that. There are character traits that you can know that these will contribute towards my growth, okay? And if I don't have them, then I need to acquire them. If after acquiring them, I need to grow them or increase them. If I have, let me say, the character traits, for those of us that began the year together, this actually took me back to the growth gaps. I don't know whether some of you remember the growth gaps that we shared. Growth gaps. That if you're setting a vision for the end of the year, that by the end of the year, this is what I want to achieve, between the time that you're setting those goals to the time that you will achieve those goals, the thing that is going to help you connect your goals to the vision and the life that you want to live are the growth gaps. So the moment you have the growth gaps covered, that means you are acquiring, you are increasing, you are removing whatever you need to remove, you're removing the impatience, and you're putting in the perseverance. And you're saying, you know what, no matter what, the endurance, I must keep going. I must be resilient. That is a character trait. I must be bold. That is a character trait. I must be courageous. Courage is not that you're not going to fear. But in the mentorship, what do we say? We do it afraid. You do it while you're shaking, while your feet. Have you ever been afraid? While you're shaking, your legs are shaking, but your mind is saying, I'm going. I am going to do it anyway. Have you seen a baby walking? I see my baby walk all the time while his legs are wobbling, and I'm thinking, you know what? He does not want to be lifted. He does not want to sit on your laps. He feels you are inconveniencing them. Even at midnight, he feels he should be climbing the bars and going I don't know where. Now, that is a person that knows that, by the way, if I fall, I will hit myself, maybe it will hurt, but I must be able to move. I want you to go into, because some of these things we don't do because we think success is far-fetched and people have used big words. In order to get to success, you must work very hard, you must do this, you must do this. There are so many ambiguous things. Now, I want you to narrow it down to your character traits. What do you lack that you can actually add, or what do you have in small portions that you can actually increase? Before I came here, we had a meeting, and one of my team leaders was admitting that, you know what, I blow up. You know I have anger issues, and I've told my fellow colleagues that, you know what, I have anger issues, but I admit it's something that I have to work on. Do you see that? If someone admits that I have to work on this, that means they will catch themselves in the moment. When they're about to blow up, they will be like, now, this is not helpful to everyone else. It's not helpful to the team, and it's not progressing this work. So, can I walk away? Can I be silent? Can I hand over the responsibility to another team leader to help me in the moment where I need to cool down? It brings you back to the sobriety of making a better decision. Why? Because you know that, by the way, I cannot grow without anger management. I have to be able to manage my anger. How many of us, our businesses have died because of anger issues? Someone cracks a deal, and because someone says a word from somewhere, from whichever camp, and we know as even CEOs, some CEOs and some, leaders, top leaders can have lugambo. They have moments of lugambo and gossip. Everyone has lugambo. Even presidents sits and gossips. Hey, Have you ever met him with his gangos? He will even stretch his legs. And you know, Lugambo people don't... you know? So maybe someone said something and it got back to your camp. Ask yourself, how did it even get back to my camp? If someone carried it, that means they had ill intentions. Otherwise, someone who wishes you success, when they hear something bad, they will let it go and say, you know what, I am not going to be the conduit that transmits bad information. And you should never be the conduit that transmits bad information. If you hear something and you know it's not going to contribute to someone's growth, can you die with it? Swallow it. If it's a warning and you need to sound a warning and you can't hold it, then sound it in a better way, not in a way that adds in Royco and adds in what? Mchuzi curry and adds in what? Mchuzi mix. Sorry? You know, this person, let me tell you, someone can bring news. They have come to warn you. Have you seen intercessors? They intend to pray. But when they bring their prayer request, the way they bring it, I don't know. I don't know where we are going. Before they get to the point, as in they make you, let me tell you, there are no better public speakers like gossipers. They prepare their audience before they land their message. So by the time the message lands, it lands on a fertile ground. And because they know they can't be alone in this rumor mongering and gossiping, you must be agreeable. So they even know how, you know how in coaching we say that you probe, okay? Like you ask questions because clients know their problems, and by the way, clients know their solutions. So what a Lugambo person will do, they will probe you and you will answer without knowing that you're answering. You will say, yes, I saw it. And they'll be, you see, you also saw it. So you're part of the Lugambo, whether you want it or not. Okay? So, character traits. Someone can lose a deal because of anger management. Someone can lose a deal because they're just not bold to stand up for themselves and say, you know what, this is a bold no. I've said most of the time, sometimes when you say no, someone will even come to you. You've seen it when you go to buy clothes. You state your price and someone says, no, I've chased people with that price. And while you're going, please come back, please come back. So sometimes you have to learn to say no to certain things. So character traits. Ask yourself, where do I need to edit? What do I need in my life? And when you talk about character traits, there are so many. And one of them is being decisive. Have you seen people who are not decisive? Very indecisive. They don't know where they fall. You even ask them what restaurant you want to go to, they don't know. Even when they're faced with a problem, they go back and forth, and sometimes they tend to take other people's decisions and not their own decisions. And then after things rupture in their face, that is when they're like, it's so and so. They're quick to blame. Why? Because they did not want to take the responsibility, so they were indecisive. So when someone comes to you and asks you, should I leave my marriage or stay? Tell them, what do you feel? Because they have the answer. You should never possess the answer as to whether someone leaves their marriage or not. They should not leave it on your account. Because some people are more tolerant than others. So you will tell someone, go, nenga bo, they are very persevering. They can stick around and fight. And then you tell someone to stay, yet they are very weak. So, you tell them, what do you feel? What have you thought about? What options have you thought about? You'll be surprised. People think about options, but when they come to seek for advice, they never bring their options. So most times they want to hear from you. Why? Because they want to confirm whether what they thought was actually true. So, decisiveness, okay? Let's go to focus. We have the focus tribe. Some of us just don't have anything called focus in our lives. We move, you don't know how this month has gotten to this date. Yeah, so many of us. If I asked for us to raise hands, let me tell you, you'll be surprised that all of us will have our hands up. Because we are consumed by so many things. The world is dividing us, literally dividing us. notifications, Instagram, children, and then you have, you have all these things. You have work, you have a boss that is breathing fire down your neck, like you have everything that is happening. So for you to sit down and mind your business and say, you know what, this is what I want to do, and today, this is the action I must take that is going to contribute to the goal that I wanted for my second quarter. Sometimes you reach on the 15th, you've done nothing. The month ends, you have done nothing. And then this is what you say, there is still more time.